Hey everybody, welcome to Voices Randomish Live. I'm your host Eldridge, and to my right, to my left is my sister
Allison,
Bess,
D'Artagnan,
and tonight we want to know what's your frequency? Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about the whole Hughley situation where he had a child, and then apparently the child passed away. But even in spite of the child passing away, he's been paying money to a mistress for the story not to come out. And then I understand that in spite of that, rather than have her bring it out or someone else tell the story, he decided to tell the story. So the question is that if would you pay your husband as a mistress to keep quiet? You know, if you knew, because obviously the wife knew if she controlled the finances, which in a lot of cases, you know, one or the other partner is going to control the finances. And so at some point you have to come clean, or you have to figure out a way to make some money on the side. In this case, he did what some would think would be the honorable thing, you know, to come forward and just tell it all. So what do you think about that? Do you think that's an honorable, you know, act on his part to come forward even under the circumstances? And as his wife, would you feel compelled to do that?
I think it was the best thing for him to do, to come forward before somebody else could say it, so he can be like, hey, look, this is what happened. This is what I did. Admit to it before somebody can, you know, go and say, look what he's trying to hide. Look what he's trying to cover up. So I think it was best for him to admit it and go public before the woman or some other family member could. Now, as far as the wife paying off the mistress, I mean, I could understand if she were paying him off for the reason of protecting his career and his reputation, so it wouldn't go public on bad terms, you know, because she's still married to him, and to protect his career. And like I told you guys before, but it's similar to Michael Jordan and his wife, that, you know, like, she knew and she stayed married to him. And then after all was said and done, he retired. Then she divorced him, you know, for years of everything. And now, you know, Mrs. Michael Jordan owns 50% of every shoe that's sold. So, I mean, honestly,
that's true.
I'm not trying to, you know, be funny about it, but I mean, in that case of being married to somebody with that type of income and that type of status, like if I were in his wife's position, yes, I probably would protect his name, because ultimately that protects an empire that I'm living in.
Right, and it's a family legacy. They said that about Hillary too recently, that the reason why Hillary stayed in her relationship with Bill is that it was more of a business arrangement. So if what I hear you saying is that it was a business decision.
I mean, when it comes to relationships that have that kind of financial number, you know what I mean, that have that, right? I mean, that you have that much money involved a lot of times, or reputation. That's a lot of times. But I mean, like, me personally, if I were married to somebody and he had hell no, I ain't paying her shit. Because for me, in like this situation, unless it was somebody that, you know, ultimately me backing them would somehow benefit me in the long run, then no, I'm not going to. Because, you know what I mean, that's just proving how disloyal somebody is. But for a business reason like that, like, I understand her position, or, you know, like, I understand her in that position. But I mean, like, if it was just some regular dude off the street, hell no. Like,
I think situations like this
over here?
Situations like this make me question the integrity of people in their marriage, because I feel like for you to pay off the mistress to keep it a secret, meaning, like, what were you trying to protect? And I feel like she was trying to just protect the assets, and that was it. Not like, you know, protect her dignity, or, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that it was more for the public than because she really felt some type of way about it.
But isn't her dignity wrapped up in all of the public image?
But he only came forward because somebody was going to out him, and he just said, okay, well, I'll just be the one to do it.
So you don't think he was just doing the honorable thing?
But he did. He came forward to his wife when it happened. So I think for that,
was honorable. As soon as it happened, when he got all the news, he talked to his wife about it before anybody else
Mm-hmm.
and anything else came forth there. So she knew. And me coming from an aspect of being married and knowing that, my husband was cheating and going through all of these things, you choose to stay in a situation, so you choose not to be made a fool of in a situation publicly. So if I'm going to stay in this relationship, this is what you're gonna need to do. And you set the ground rules. Like, I'm gonna need you to not be out here acting stupid. You set all the rules for those things. So I understand why she would do that, because she didn't want to bring that negative image to her husband, who was just building his career. And it doesn't tell you exactly when in his career this happened.
Right.
He doesn't give you the dateline of, okay, this was right when I first started coming. So you don't know how much of his empire was actually built when this happened, but we do know it happened some time ago. Right. So this isn't a new thing. This isn't something new 30 years after they married and all of a sudden he got a baby mama. And, this was something that was early on in their marriage. So with it being early on in their marriage, I think she did what was right in their image, because that could have ruined his career. Like, if that would have came out, that could have ruined his career. Like, if all of this became public knowledge and, they would have just drug his name. You know how we are as people, period. Right. We would have drug his name. Like, he got this Michigan, he got this wife.
And we may have missed out.
I don't think his career would have been as great as it is right now.
Yeah, because he's a funny person. And so I still think of some of my favorite jokes that D.L. Hughley tells, especially the one about the big TV and the little TV. He has said it, there's a little TV, and the big TV is on the bottom, and the little TV got a picture, and the big TV got sound. Come on home, y'all. Come on home. Thank you for that joke. That's a funny joke. I mean, just that whole stand-up routine was funny. So, you're absolutely right. I would hate to see all the things that he brought be overshadowed by the decision of not coming forward to do it. And no matter how we see it, what ultimately matters is how he and his wife worked through it. But what I really like about it is it gives us another example of how Black love can sometimes be stronger than all the forces against you. You think about what she must have been
going through. But that comes
through.
with being honest.
Yeah.
If he had not been honest, and he had been complete, he was disloyal in his stepping out of his marriage.
Right.
Yes. But he was honest, and he didn't try to hide it and try to hide it, on the side, try to pay out of his little money without the wife knowing. He was honest enough to come forward and say, baby, I know I messed up. This is what happened. She ended up having a baby. The test came back and the child is mine. And then you got to sort of write in that aspect. The child is now dead.
It's not like he came forward because he was going to be outed to his wife and trying to cover his ass. Like, he had already come clear to her. He was just going to be outed to the public. And he chose to take a hold of the situation and lead it and let people know that, hey, yes, this happened. Yes, I did this, before somebody could say, like, guess what he did? Guess what happened?
And that's what he said.
He got ahead of it. So that I do find it like that. He came forward, admitted his wrong, but I don't see it as like, it's not like he did it so his wife wouldn't find out that way. Like, she had been known, you know what I mean? Like, and as far as the public, honestly, it's nobody else's fucking business what happened.
Right.
As long as he came because with his wife from
if
the
the public would have drugged him, they wouldn't have business for people to talk about.
Well, that's what I'm saying. As long as his wife knew from the get-go, it doesn't matter if the public knew when it happened or whatever. It's none of our business. I mean, as far as that's concerned.
Let's get something to say.
But to answer your question, no, I would not pay off the mistress.
Tell us why. You want to know why? Because
I wouldn't pay the mistress because I would want it to come out, to be honest. Think about Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart stuff was aired out. You know what he did? He flipped it and made a documentary out of it. Okay. And people watched it and it made him more money.
Yeah.
So no, I wouldn't pay nobody. No, you want to do this, you want to try to embarrass me or be out here and potentially embarrassing me, you can put that out there. And you want me back, okay, you can put that out there too.
Well,
that's how I feel.
Here's a crazy thing from y'all know I'm gonna come from an academic perspective on this. And as I was looking at this, I was like, it's two sides to this. Okay, so first you have these women who are very strong because of the fact that they're very, I always think of courageous as being an emotional state and brave being the task to show the action behind what it is. So first of all, there is a courage aspect because you're the wife of a big time celebrity. All this stuff is coming out. And you think about when we were growing up, it was like a thing about honoring the family name. And we've gotten away from honoring the family name. People really don't care. And so because we live in a hybrid culture, when I say that, I mean the difference between a shame culture versus a hybrid culture. In a shame culture, it's a culture where when you do something as an individual, it blemishes and it tarnishes everybody in the family's name. So the outward shame is what you worry about. We live in a guilt society where we go for most part where we hide things and we only worry about how it's going to impact us. And people think about the me aspect. So then what we see is the person who's thinking about the shaming aspect of what could happen to his family when other people are trying to blackmail him from the me aspect. So he will cower to that and say, well, I'm going to pay this person off because it's all about me. When he basically rose above that and saw that he would be shaming his family if he didn't honor his family by coming clean. So I literally saw it from a different aspect. And that's why I said, was he doing the honorable thing? And that my answer to that is like, I get what you're saying. You wouldn't pay the person, but I also saw the honor in, like you said, the connection between him and his wife and the communication for him to come forward and do that. And what I really like about this is another example of how a black man, a man of color, whatever we calling ourselves, Negro, colored, or whatever this week. I don't know, y'all. I'm confused. Every week I'm confused. But to me, it debunks all the myths that we hear and all the stereotypical things that we hear about men of color and how we're dishonest and that we don't communicate and things like that. It shows us another way that people communicate and how it can work out as long as you communicate and you understand what's at stake. Apparently, everybody that was vested in that relationship understood what was at stake. And so it goes back to what you said about Mrs. Jordan getting half of every Nike shoe. She understands.
If she would have divorced him 20 years earlier, she wouldn't have got what she got 20 years later.
That's right. Because half of nothing is still nothing.
But then would you sacrifice your happiness for that benefit to be able to have half of whatever it is that he acquired 20 years later?
But
I'm just gonna say, like,
happiness then.
Right.
For
Right, and it depends on how you measure that.
Right, but at the same time, like when you talk about, or when he says how she took that money out, his allowance, I don't think she's too unhappy. I don't think she's a doormat and getting walked all over. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure from that situation, like, she let it be known that, like, hey, your balls,
now.
You see my purse? This is where I keep your balls from now on. I'll let you know when you can use those. So I'm pretty sure so I mean, I don't know that she did sacrifice her happiness because, I mean, I'm not trying to make it seem like, like she's a controlling woman or anything, but just from that statement alone, I think he realized the error of his ways and let me submit to my wife and let her know that I appreciate her, I love her, and that's where I want to be, and let me do what I need to do in order to let her know that. And if that means she's got it, like, then that's what he did.
The best was like, hey, I still ain't giving up my money.
I ain't giving up the bag.
It's like,
she ain't giving up the bag, y'all.
I give
Me?
the bag.
Hell, go sit down, shut up somewhere.
Right.
That's just what it is. Don't embarrass me out in these streets, please.